the Sunday Journal. I'm your host, Matt Pittett. Thanks for being with us today on this edition of our program. We get together each week to talk about issues that are facing Cape Cod, the islands, and all of southeastern Massachusetts. Real interesting program we have coming up for you here today. We're going to talk about an exchange program that has brought a young student here to Cape Cod, to the Monomoy Regional High School. We're going to introduce you to that student. She's from Egypt, and talk about this youth education and study program. It's a program under AFS. Many of you may be familiar with it. I was talking with our guests earlier before we began the program, and I actually was involved with AFS myself in high school a whole long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was, but it was a real long time ago. Now, let's welcome in our guest today to talk about this program that has brought this young student here to Cape Cod. We're going to find out about her and her culture and what she's learning here at the Monomoy Regional High School. Our student is, and I'll get this right, I think it's Nadine Ellaban. Did I get that right, Nadine?
Yeah, you did.
Thanks so much for being here today. You're from Egypt?
Yeah, I am.
You've been here since August, right?
Yeah.
Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
In studio and in the States and on the Cape. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it very much. You're staying with the Klingon family. Did I get that right, Joanne?
Yes, you did.
Joanne, how are you? Joanne is from Harwich, and you're hosting Nadine, and she's attending Monomoy Regional High School. And you have a daughter as well, a similar age to Nadine, who's is also helping in this program as well.
Yes, I do.
Great. Now, well, and also the liaison for the program, Kalpna Turasamy. Did I get that kind of right?
Close enough.
Kalpna, how are you? Thurasamy.
Thurasamy. Yes.
Kalpna Thurasamy is the liaison for the program and lives in Marston's Mills, and is also joining us here to talk about this program. All right, so let's just open it up. Let's find out what's going on here. This is a unit of AFS, which is a program that I know it has, having been involved with, has exchanges with students between different countries. And the youth education and study, I understand, Nadine, actually came out of 9/11, right? It's actually a program that brings in students from Muslim countries, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Tell me about the program, please.
The program started after 9/11, so that people would, the people from the Muslim countries would go to other places and tell them that we're not terrorists. Islam is not a terrorism, and we're just explaining more about our countries and culture, and that we don't like terrorism, and we were hoping to spread peace all over the world.
So this program has been going on since 2000, since 9/11. And what got you involved with it? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the listeners a little bit about your background, your family, where you're from in Egypt, and what brought you here.
I'm 16, and I have two sisters. I have a sister and a brother, actually, and my mother is a German teacher. My father's an engineer. I was involved with AFS because I had a friend last year. She was involved with AFS, and she was placed in Georgia. She told me more about it before she traveled, and I was really interested in doing something like this because I've never been on a plane. I've never left Egypt, and I live in Cairo, capital. And when I came here, I found a lot of difference.
So this was your first time on a plane?
Yeah.
Ever? You came to the U.S.?
Yeah.
Now, is Cairo, and please excuse my ignorance on some of my questions, but is Cairo, obviously it's your capital, is it a very cosmopolitan city? How would you describe Cairo itself?
Cairo's really crowded with people. We were speaking yesterday that we wanted to go shopping, but then we couldn't because it was 8 or 9 p.m. and everything closed in Egypt.
Cape.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And everything in Egypt's open 24 hours, which made I can't.
Yeah, not in Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Mm-hmm. It's a crowded area, but when I came here, I found it's really quiet and.
So you're coming from a city. So Cairo itself is cosmopolitan. It's an urban area.
Yeah.
And you're coming to a pretty rural area here on Cape Cod. You're living down in Harwich, which I know very well. It's my town. love Harwich. So has there been any type of geographic shock for you to be in a very rural area near the water, and or how have you adapted to that since August?
When I came here, I found it was really different. I came to August in August, and I was it was really cold at night for me. In August, I was it can be August here. I felt it's January in Egypt. And yeah, it was a little bit different, but I got used to it, actually.
Let's bring in some of our other guests. We'll be back with Nadine in just a moment. So Joanne Klingen, Joanne is the host family for Nadine. Joanne, what got your family involved in this program?
We had an exchange student from Germany about 6 years ago, and she was actually the daughter of a friend, and that actually wasn't through AFS, but that was the beginning of our family's involvement with exchange programs. And then a few years after that, we had a student who came from Hong Kong, and we wanted to do this again. So we've had good experiences. It's been really interesting for our family to get to know Nadine.
So this is not your first time with an exchange student, then?
The third time.
Third time.
First time with the YES program.
What do you enjoy about it? What's kind of driving you folks, your family, to keep bringing back a new student every couple of years?
Well, actually, this time we were very interested in the YES because my daughter attends school. My older daughter attends school in Abu Dhabi. And so we were particularly interested in a Muslim-speaking country, a Muslim country. Mm-hmm. But I think it's our learning from getting to know a person over time like that. Our family has learned a lot about the culture of Nadine's culture, but also about our own through noting what might be different. Our community has also really enjoyed getting to know Nadine. I'm talking about school. I'm talking about my family, my town.
Mm-hmm. What is it what have you learned from Nadine since August? Maybe things about either her culture. Many times with these exchange programs and having, I was involved with them. I was telling you folks before we started the program that I was involved with the AFS program when I was in high school. We hosted German and British students. Unfortunately, I was going to be going to Argentina as part of the AFS program, and there was a military problem that had come up. A military attempted coup down there. This is a long time ago, and so they canceled the trip. They obviously weren't going to let us go down there in the middle of a tremendous amount of unrest. But we really did enjoy hosting students, and it's interesting because I think hosting students from other cultures, other countries, I learned a lot about myself through interacting and having a student from somebody my age at the time living in my house for many weeks, learning about their culture, learning about my culture more and the differences. So what have you folks learned?
I've learned some about the way that education is structured in Cairo and how that might be different than the way it is here. I think about family life, which in a large part, there's such a difference between the cosmopolitan nature of Cairo and Harwich, learning how the geographic differences make your life very different. The differences in food, differences in religious practice, and then I also have to say there's a lot that being human beings we have in common, and so there's a nice thread there that runs through it that we have a lot in common as well. Let
me bring in the liaison for the program from Marston's Mills, Kalpana Thurasamy. I think I got it right that time.
You did.
Kalpana. Thanks for being here today. Tell me about your role. You're the liaison for the program, but what does that mean, basically?
It means that if Nadine needs to speak to someone, outside of her family unit while she's here, that she has someone that she can express her thoughts to in a safe, or I don't want to use the word safe, but a
place that makes her feel more comfortable.
Yeah,
perhaps.
or the idea is we're all here to help Nadine have a very good experience here, but there are challenges when you're coming from a different culture and country.
What's your background? Are you Egyptian as well?
No, I am first-generation American-born Sri Lankan.
Okay. So what got you involved with this program then?
Last year I hosted 2 students, one from Mali, Africa, and one from Thailand, and I enjoyed the experience. And just like Joanne was saying, what you learn about yourself and our education system was a big eye-opener, I guess.
So what are some of the issues that come up with? Have you interacted with Nadine so far since she got here in August? What are some of the conversations that you can tell us that have come up?
Well, I think I think the adjustment in the beginning is difficult when you are coming from a big city, and I had that with my girls as well. And then everything is different. I mean, every single thing about the culture is different, and having to adjust to that, and then being thrown into high school, I think is a tremendous change that occurs. And she's doing very well. So we talked about those things to help adjust and sort of give yourself some time and credit. She's with the wonderful family, the Klingons, and she's doing great.
So you're basically on call for the most part if Nadine has a question,
Sure.
or wants to just talk to you about some things that may be happening, etc.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us today on the Sunday Journal, we're talking about a program. It's the Youth Education and Study program. It's run through AFS, and this program, this Youth Education and Study, YES, as it's referred to, was started after 9/11, specifically to bring students from Muslim countries here to the U.S., and we're talking with one of those students, Nadine Ellaban from Egypt, and also her liaison, Kalpna Thurasamy, and the host mom, Joanne Klingon. Nadine, let me go back to you. Let's talk a little bit about maybe some of the issues. When you've reached out so far to Kalp, what have been some of the things you talked about? Maybe things that have come up either in school or with the family. What have your interactions been?
Well, I can't remember that my first problem was about I was homesick at the beginning. I didn't leave my family like more than 4 days, so it was like such a huge difference like to come here.
So you hadn't left your Egyptian family for longer than a period of 4 days.
Yeah.
And here you come flying into the U.S., coming down to Cape Cod for a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which was like, I didn't think about it when I was in Egypt. I didn't think that it would be really hard for me to just leave my family and my friends suddenly. But when I came here, I found that like it was really hard for me at the beginning. I was excited at the beginning and thought, okay, that's something different. You didn't do this, so this would be something great to do. But when I came here, I realized I didn't give myself time to think about it. So when I came here, I found myself sitting here. Okay, that's how it goes, and I was shocked.
Was there a point where you said, "Oh, I've got to get out of here. I've got to go home"?
I reached the point that I said this actually, and I asked my liaison to like send me back, but then she told me you can't.
You can't go?
But yeah. But then I got used to it, and I'm glad that I passed this because it makes me stronger.
Now, how's the interaction been with Joanne's? Joanne, how many children do you have?
I have two. One's away at college and one's home.
So your daughter, who's Nadine's age.
Yes.
So how is that interaction? Basically, are you friends now with Joanne's? What's your daughter's name? I don't want to just keep calling her your daughter.
Sophie.
Sophie. Have you become friends with Sophie?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you think you guys are tight now, and you'll even when you leave next year, you think this is a lifelong friendship?
I think this will be definitely a long friendship.
Why is that? What has happened to create that bond since August?
Well, like all my host family members, they all helped me when I was homesick, and I think solving the problems together helped us to like make this bond stronger. I can remember at night we used to like walk in the street because I didn't want to sleep. I was just crying, and they took me out, and we're just like walking through the blocks, and it was just great how they can help me pass this.
One thing here in this country, and I've said this many times over the years, I think to our detriment in the U.S., we sometimes are so insulated here in the U.S., we don't know really what's happening outside of our country because, unfortunately, in terms of our national media, and I don't know if you've noticed this or not since you've been here, Nadine, our national media doesn't put a lot of attention anymore on what's happening in international news. So we're very much just fed a lot of what's happening in our country. So, we hear, unfortunately, when there are bad things happening, we don't necessarily hear the day-to-day of what's happening in your country. So tell us a little bit about Egypt. What's going on over there right now? Because we hear, obviously a very unsettled part of the world right now, that part of the Middle East. So how would you describe 2015 in Egypt right now, considering all the, political unrest that's been happening?
Yeah, I think we're still struggling, but it's really much more better than like 5 years ago. Because like 5 years ago, we had 2 revolutions. We had to move like 3 presidents, which was really hard for my country and for me to like pass this hard time, seeing people die every day. It was horrible. I was there in the 2 revolutions. My parents were there, my brother and my sister. We were all there because we like felt that we cannot live anymore like this. But now it's nothing, like not a lot of things is fixed now, but we're still working on it, and there's progress which make it like better than just staying and things going worse. So being in progress and doing things to fix stuff, it's better than just staying here and saying things are getting worse.
What do you feel the future is for Egypt? Do you feel as though there's some stability to the political government structure there at this point? And within the Middle East, even after everything that you've gone through, I think this is my own thought, a personal opinion, is that Egypt is probably more stable than a lot of other countries in the region right now.
Well, yeah, and that makes me feel good, that because a lot of countries, when they just got hit with something bad, they just go worse and worse, while Egypt, we got hit by a lot of stuff, but we're getting better. Like each time we had a struggle or something, it makes us better and stronger, and we have like new strategies to how to deal with stuff. So I think this make the country stronger, and we have good president right now, and I think things are getting better.
From the standpoint of this program, specifically the youth education and study focusing in on countries that are Muslim countries, are you a practicing Muslim yourself?
Yes, I am.
So what have you been telling your new friends here in the U.S. about being a Muslim? Because as you pointed out right at the beginning, there are perceptions about Muslims around the world, and we know that it's a very small percentage. Any religion has a percentage that has people within that religion who cause problems. So what's the message you've been delivering about, in general, being a Muslim?
Yeah, I just want to say that being a Muslim is not being praying and just like telling people that I'm praying. Well, praying is just the connection between you and God. It's just a private relation that people doesn't have to know about it. What people can see from the outside, that you're a good person, you don't harm, you don't make people feel bad, you don't harm anyone, you don't kill. Muslims shouldn't be killed. Like, one of the greatest things, Islam said that if someone do it, he might go to hell. If like killing people or killing a Muslim or any other different people, not just Muslims, but any person, you don't have the right to take his life. So this is a major thing in Islam.
What have you learned about our religious structure here, in terms of Christianity here in this country, Muslims here in this country, people who are Jewish in this country? What have you learned so far about our religions that we practice here? Well,
I learned that it's the same. Like, they want people to, it's like, I feel like other religions are based on, it's making rules so that people can live together without harming each other. It's just like it's the same exact rules and different just how to practice the way of the religion. It's just small difference, but it wants the same result.
These shows always go by so quickly. We could talk for another hour. What I'd like to do is, I think you should come back in a few months if you're interested in that. Maybe sometime in the summer before you head back.
Yeah,
we can kind of find out what's been happening with you, because we do have to run. But what are you looking forward to as you look forward to the next couple of months here in the U.S.? In terms of either what you've been told is going to be happening, different types of events, activities, festivities, etc. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward doing a lot of presentations about Egypt to tell people more that we're not we need peace with other people. We are not terrorists. Muslims are not terrorists. And I just hope everything become peaceful and as usual. Well,
we're definitely going to have you back to find out a little bit more about what is in your future, and when you leave here coming up in August. Kalpna and Joanne, what a great young woman. So well-spoken and so intelligent about her country. It's you must both be proud.
I am.
Definitely.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. Joanne Klingon is our hostess, the host mother for Nadine. Kalpna Thurasamy is the liaison for the program, and really the star of the show today has been Nadine Ellaban. Nadine, it's a pleasure to meet you, and we look forward to having you back in a few months to find out how things went. So I want to thank you all for coming by here today. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for being with us today on the Sunday Journal. I'm Matt Pitta.